the Roswell Women's Club, Roswell Next, and the Atlanta Women, the League of Women Voters Atlanta Fulton meet and greet the candidates. I'm Jane Mickleby, and I am president of Roswell Women's Club. So we welcome you here tonight. Let's start off the evening by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. If you're standing, will you please stand up? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pleasure of kicking off the event tonight, and we hope that you have an enjoyable evening and feel like you have met the candidates once you leave here tonight, and have a chance to speak with them one-on-one after they have all introduced themselves. The Roswell Women's Club has a long history of candidate forums and debates. It's one of the cornerstones that we are associated with in the city of Roswell. This year, our model is a little different, as we will start off the evening by introducing the candidates. They will have 3 minutes to speak. And once everybody's had a chance to introduce themselves, we will then allow you all to meet at each of the candidates' individual tables and ask questions. So, the first person I'd like to introduce and thank for being a partner with us is the president of Roswell Next, which is an organization, a 501c3, that encourages open dialogue and local participation amongst young professionals, entrepreneurs, and visionaries to influence the social, civic, and economic heartbeat of Roswell. I would like to introduce Lindsay Coates, the president of Roswell Next.
We are so excited to be a part of this again. We have been participated in the past with the Roswell Women's Group, and we were a club, and we were so excited to be hosting this again, being a civic club. We are a member-based organization for $50 a year. It's a really great benefit. You get 2 meetings a month. We do a breakfast, a town builders breakfast every month, except for July and December. And at that breakfast, we bring various individuals from the city, transportation, parks, all kinds of things, to give the lowdown on what's happening within our city. And then our What's Next event is an evening mixer, and it's a little more low-key, and sometimes we'll have a speaker, but usually it's just people gathering and more of a networking event. So we encourage everybody. We're just a group. We've got about 200 members right now, and we're a group that really just deeply cares about Roswell and what's happening and wants to know what's going on. So we encourage you to visit our website, roswellnext.org, and get more involved. And thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Lindsay, and Roswell Next. Our next partner that is helping us host this evening is the League of Women Voters of Atlanta Fulton. They were established in 1920. The League is a nonpartisan political organization encouraging informed and active participation in government. It influences public policy through education and advocacy. Nicola Hines is here to welcome you this evening. She is the president of the League.
Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm so glad to be here and be part of this wonderful event. I think this is our first event that we have partnered with the Roswell Women's Club and Roswell Next, and I know this is not going to be our last one. As stated, we are a 101 years old organization. We are a nonpartisan political organization, and we're probably one of the oldest civic engagement organizations to date. We have members from all across the aisle and up and down the aisle now with third and fourth party candidates and beliefs. We don't discriminate regardless of gender, religion, race, or sex. So even though the word women is in there, I hope we're going to see all these men sign up to be members of the League of Women Voters, because we are truly all about nonpartisan and bringing the facts to our citizens and our constituents across Fulton County. Once again, I'm just happy to be here. Local elections is very dear to me because if you want change in your community, it starts with your local elections. When you vote for your mayor, your sheriffs, your DAs, and your court, your judges. It all starts here, and I'm so glad to be part of this. I just want to say thank you so much. Oh, I would be a great president if I didn't do like Lindsay. You can join us at lwbaf.org/join, and we're a little bit higher, we're about $85, but we have really, really great committees. We do advocacy both on the state level, the local levels, even with education, with Fulton County education system. We do obviously voter education. We do a lot of great programs that affects us day to day. So please join us, $85 at lwbaf.org. Hope to see some of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicola. All right, well, before we get started and learn a little more about our candidates, I'd like to make a few thank yous. We first of all want to thank First Baptist Church of Roswell and Chris Rowe. They have been so kind to us in hosting us this evening and helping us set up and create this space for us to learn more about these candidates. Thank you to Lindsay and Nicola for being our partners. Without your support, we wouldn't have been able to pull this off. So thank you both for being here and assisting. I also want to thank our member of Roswell Women's Club, Renee Shirley. She sits on the, She sits on the Public Affairs Committee, as well as 4 years ago founded a project called the Historic Roswell Beautification Project. So she has made our town more beautiful in so many ways. Thank you, Renee. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate your time and your willingness to run and make a difference in our city. And now I would like to mention our timekeeper. Karen Bearden is a member of Roswell Women's Club as well as the League, and she is going to be keeping time this evening. So keep your eyes on this lady or you're going to hear a beep. And then last but not least, I'm going to introduce to you the chair of our Public Affairs Committee for Roswell Women's Club, Sue Sharp. Thank you, Sue, for saying yes to this job and helping plan this evening. You've really gone above and beyond. Yes, thank you.
Thank you all for coming out, especially in the rain, because we saw that rain and we're like, oh Lord. But that's just the way it goes. We do appreciate everything, and I'm going to go over just a few of the housekeeping rules, but masks is required by the church itself, so we ask if you don't have one on yet, please get one from the desk. They are required. It's kind of like you're on the airline. Speaking of being on the airline, as a retired flight attendant, I'd like to point out your emergency exits in the evening. Keep your seatbelts tightened at all times. You never know what might happen in your time. We do ask you too to look over the rules of the whole event, and in particular, we ask that the candidates as well as the attendees pay attention to rule number 13. We ask candidates and attendees to refrain from personal comparison to other candidates. Personal attacks by one candidate on another candidate or elected official will not be tolerated. So we thank you for understanding that. If you do have to leave early, you're unable to ask a question to one of the candidates, these forms are on every table. You can fill them out. We will then give them either to the candidate this evening, or we will scan them into the candidate and send them to a via email. You put your email on here, and we hope and pray that each one of the candidates will get back with you, and I'm sure they will. We hope that this whole evening will enlighten you, that you can make the best decision for Roswell going forward. At this time, I'll check my notes, make sure here. I think we can get on with the show and start with the Honorable Mayor Henry for a 3-minute buzz talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you to the Women's Club and Roswell Next and our illustrious Roswell Baptist Church and the League of Women and others. You all are awesome. I've been through many elections in the city of Roswell, and they would never be the same without your support, your help, and your engagement. So thank you all so much. I would also like to thank my loyal supporters, because I've got many of them, and they are working very hard on my campaign, and I'm looking forward to continuing to let you know what I've done, what I will be doing, and what I'm in the process of doing. These are uncommon times. Stop and think about it. We had a pandemic. We've had many, many uncommon times. So what I would like to say is common sense prevails, and my leadership in Roswell kept us open while other cities closed. Stop and think about that. It kept us open while other cities closed. And I would like to tell you all as well that the city of Roswell businesses, while they were hurt, they were struggling for their lives, they have prevailed, and they have come out stronger. And I would also like to thank my Business Recovery Task Force for that, because they came through with a lot of recommendations on opening up our businesses and bringing our businesses back in the forefront. So not only is the city of Roswell thriving, but our businesses are as well. What I'd also like to tell you is that during the pandemic, we have been actually been able to lower our millage rate to 4.718, lowest rate that has been since 1988. So not only were we able to keep Roswell open, we kept it open for business, and we reduced taxes. And that's all because we have a very, very conservative fiscal budget, and we have also been able to retire debt. So having said that, I would also like to say that during this time, my past 4 years, we have hired a new city administrator, a police chief, a Reagan Parks director, and a fire chief. All of those departments are going to take the city of Roswell into the future, and it will take the city of Roswell into the future under my guidance and my leadership. I am excited about it. I think it's great for the city of Roswell. I would also like to mention to you that on the ballot, I'd be remiss if I didn't, that we will have a T+2 on the ballot. T+1 is retiring. This is not an additional T+1 amount, so the taxes you are paying any purchases that you make in Fulton County will not increase. That will stay the same. This is bringing forward the debt or the agreement with T+1 into T+2. Thank you.
So sorry, Kurt Wilson will be next.
Feel free to just throw that at me. If I get it stopped, you just throw it at me, because I'm probably going to be paying attention. And 3 minutes is a scary amount of time. I used to be Golden Gloves boxer. There was nothing longer than a 3-minute round. But having 4 daughters and a wife, 5 women in the house, 3 minutes is all I get. So I'm used to 3 minutes, and I'm usually pretty bad at it. It's a very tough time to go. Thank you so much. My mama used to be the president of the League of Women Voters in Huntsville, Alabama in 1974, 75, and 76. So we love the organization. Thank you for being a part of this. I'm excited about having the opportunity of being in front of you. Thank you for hosting this event and allowing us as potential elected representatives and current elected representatives to come talk to you tonight. Very briefly, very shortly, I can't wait for when we win this election in the next 3 weeks for what we're going to start getting done in January. We have such fantastic plans already done in this city that are just ready and willing and waiting for us to activate. It's going to be an exciting time come 2022, and I think we're going to be absolutely just stunned by the amazing processes and things that we get done in this city in the next 4 years. I can't wait for us to go on a ride, because I'm going to treat you as stakeholders in this city, just like I am. And if I was talking to a board of directors right now, you'd want to know an answer to one question. What are you going to do to improve my short-term, mid-term, but most importantly, long-term equity in the state that I have? And we all have a stake in the city. And that's really what you want to know from me as a mayoral candidate, and from these people as city council candidates, and from the current mayor. How am I going to improve your stake, your equity in the city? And if you've been listening to this campaign, you know we have got lots of fantastic plans that it's time for us in a significant way to put real dollars investing in our infrastructure. It's time for us in a real and significant way to invest back into our parks. It's time for us in a real and significant way to invest in our arts. These are all things that make significant differences to the quality of life. More significantly, you've probably seen, we're going to put a P3 project on the east side of 400. I call it Roswell Central Park. And you say, why is that significant? Because we have to change the way capital approaches our city. Right now, the way capital approaches our city on the east side of 400 is we get developments that we don't want. So we've got to be intentional and strategic as a city if we want to change the outcomes short-term, mid-term, and long-term for how we guide this city for the next 20 years. So one of the primary reasons I'm running for mayor is so that we'll be crazy intentional and crazy strategic about how we grow as a city. 15 seconds. I can't thank you enough for the opportunity to be here. God bless you. God bless our great city of Roswell. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jason Yowell, and I'm running for mayor because I love this city, and I want to restore its place as the shining city upon a hill that it once was. Roswell has gone from being the aspirational city that others sought to emulate to being a cautionary tale of how dysfunction and malfeasance can infect local government. Lori and the other incumbents running for re-election have failed in a spectacular fashion, riding in unapologetically with Yellow Ball and now finishing with the Oxbow debacle. I told them all, along with others that came into office with them 4 years ago, that they would need to fire certain department heads immediately, or they would never get control of the city. I've spent the last 4 years sounding the alarm about the utter incompetence and ineptitude of the city attorney, the transportation director, and the city administrator who was hired right before the last mayoral election. The mayor has muted me repeatedly at city council meetings, told me that I was no expert and that she had complete faith in the professionals in city government to do the right thing, that she had complete faith.
I'm going to ask that you adhere to Rule 13, which asks you to refrain. We'd like to hear your platform and your thoughts.
My platform is competence. My platform is
Great.
What we've had is incompetence. We have had people who do not understand how zoning works, how transportation works. Well, since this isn't much of a forum, I'm just going to use my closing thing. The only leadership the mayor has demonstrated is to recruit staff into what appears to be a criminal conspiracy to take my beer garden I created last summer on the river and put it on Fulton County land, leased by the city, and she did it in flagrant violation of the law. In doing this, she engaged in monopolistic trade practices, restraint of trade, possible racketeering, and the unlawful sale of alcohol. No wonder she hasn't fired the city attorney yet. She should be indicted, not reelected. Did you boo me, Lori? Why don't you mute me? You evidently
The
had the
unfortunate
beef
thing
left
about
with these
tonight is that we have actually had to have security because of our fear of what could happen. So now the security is asking Jason that you please step out and talk to him. I'm sorry, but we have made the rules plain and clear from the beginning that this was not a bastion. It is about your platform, what you intend to do, and what you want to do for the city of Roswell. Okay, this is your warning, and if at your table we hear more, I'm sorry, but we will have to ask you to leave the entire building. And I am sorry for your supporters and all, but perhaps maybe there's a lesson to be learned. So, let's move on with another little step and move on to Peter Vanstrom for City Council Post 4.
Well, let's all take a deep breath, relax. Thank you for having us, ladies and gentlemen who are hosting. This is very fun for me to be here at the Baptist Church because this is where I have voted almost every election for the last 29 or 30 years. So it's kind of fun to be in a political event where I've been voting. So I feel very comfortable here. I'm Peter Vanstrom, and I'm running for... Maybe they want me to be quiet too. I'm Peter Vanstrom, I'm running for Roswell City Council Post 4, and I am so excited to be running. I've lived in Roswell for 30 years, as I mentioned. My beautiful wife, Betty, and I have been here, raised 2 wonderful children, went through the Roswell school systems, graduated college on time, left home on time, have great careers. So we're very happy to have lived here. It's a beautiful community. People ask, why are you running for city council? One of the reasons is because in July I hit the big 6-0. That's a disturbing number. I'm sorry, but that was rough. But I hit the 6-0 and I'm able to cut back a little bit in my business and I'm able to pursue some things that I've always wanted to do. I have served on the Roswell City Planning Commission. I've served on the 2040 Comprehensive Plan, and I've served as an HO board member in my neighborhood. I've also been active in my business community in Northlake in revitalization of the area. So I have a lot of experience that I want to bring to City Hall. I'm excited. But when asked why I'm running, the biggest reason I'm running is because I know we can do better in Roswell. I know we can do better. And I'm excited to be the voice behind the residents, because the residents should be first in everything we do here in Roswell. Now, this election, you will be faced with a very important decision. It's going to be a historical election because you're going to have a choice between 2 very distinct paths. You're going to have a path that is the status quo. Things remain as they are. Same results as we've had before. Or you can vote for a bold new vision. And that bold new vision is my ideals for Roswell. The bold new vision represents the residents. It puts the residents first. I very much want to see fewer high-density, urbanizing, unbalanced apartment developments in Roswell. I constantly hear that traffic is such a problem and a complaint, and I agree, and yet we keep putting in high-density apartments that flood more and more cars onto our streets, and quite frankly, they're not doing a lot for our tax revenue balance. 70% of the taxes are paid by the revenues, by the residents. And we also want to revitalize our business districts. Our business districts are suffering. Our neighborhoods are so beautiful They are so beautiful, and the business quarters do not reflect our neighborhoods. And I promise that that'll be high on my agenda when I'm elected to city council. And 3 minutes, I'm sorry, is not enough. So please come to my table and chat with me. I got a lot more to talk about, so thank you.
Thank you so much. Sorry about that. That 3 minutes can go fast. Marie Wilson will be our next speaker.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for coming out tonight. I know we've had a little bit of uncertain weather, but it seemed like the clouds cleared just in time for us all to be here. I just want to take a few minutes to thank the Roswell Women's Club, Roswell Next, and the National League of Women Voters for organizing this event, and Roswell First Baptist Church for hosting us, and to all of you for coming out tonight to learn more about the candidates. I also want to note that October is National Women's Small Business Month, and I see a lot of small business owners here, and I just want to salute you and your fantastic contributions to the city of Roswell. I am excited to run for re-election for Roswell City Council Post 4. It's been a very exciting 4 years, with several very unexpected things that came our way. It has also certainly been a learning opportunity and a great opportunity to listen and learn from the residents. And as I've gotten to know many of you and talked to small business owners, what I've found is that we all love a lot of the same things about Roswell. We love its locations, we love the green, we love the river, we love the small businesses, and we love our neighbors, we love our fantastic communities. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, my husband Glenn and I moved here almost 30 years ago, and we've raised our family here. Our son Parker, this is his home, and our son Steven just returned here a few years ago to start a small business, so we're very proud of him as well. During that time, I have served as HOA president. I served on planning commission. I was also involved in working on the Roswell Arts Fund as that organization was beginning. And over the past 4 years on city council, it has been just an incredible honor to continue working for the city I call home. Just really quickly, so going forward, it's not very long at all. I will continue working to promote quality of life. Roswell's a wonderful place, and we need to continue to invest in our parks, our public safety, pursuing transportation solutions. We put a lot of incredible plans in place that you'll be seeing the results over the next 3, 7, 10 years that I think will really make a difference. Also looking at more bike, bus, pedestrian-friendly opportunities and smart transportation solutions. And also planning purposeful redevelopment. I would like to see us continue to focus more on revitalizing the Holker Bridge corridor and the Alpharetta Highway corridor. My vision is one with tree-lined streets, thriving businesses, and that's pedestrian and bike and car-friendly, putting people first. In closing, I look forward to talking to you all more tonight, answering your questions and listening to what you have to say about Roswell. And I have been shaking up the status quo as a member of Roswell City Council for the last 4 years, and I look forward to continuing to do that in the next 4.
All right, we're moving on to post 5. Michael?
Well, good evening. First of all, thank you to Roswell Next, and also to the Roswell Women's Club, and also to the League of Women's Voter for Atlanta, Fulton County. So my name is Michael Delchero. You saw the debate about 3 weeks ago. I'm a first-generation American. I'll spare you the last name. You can call me Michael D. Friends and family have been calling me that for years. So why am I running? Because Roswell's great. I grew up here. I'll tell you a little bit in a moment. But Roswell is a great place. Now, looking to make it even greater, okay? I want to focus on keeping our city safe. That includes our police force. Keeping our traffic moving to prevent gridlock. keeping our parks beautiful. We have the gold standard both state and national level. That's a great thing. And then keep our growth sensible. So, I feel I'm uniquely qualified for post number 5. 3 reasons, and I'll share it tonight. I grew up here since 1986. I played basketball in this gym. Maybe not so great, but I played basketball here. Went to Roswell High School. Was in a youth day parade. Was a drum major in 1989. And finished school, right? So that's the first element of why I'm uniquely qualified. My story goes back 35 years. Second, I'm a business owner here in Roswell. We focus on recruiting and real estate. People are the most important element and asset of an organization. And I believe that a thriving culture can really take organizations and cities forward. So I'm here to provide that mentoring and expertise. That's a signature of all my hiring all these extra years. The third element, my volunteerism. I stream those meetings every Monday night. I participate in city meetings. I attend them. I also volunteer. A couple weeks ago was Roswell Day of Hope. I met many of you all here tonight that Saturday with my ball cap on, lifting up tables. That work ethic I'm going to bring here. Okay? I'm also president of the Band Boosters from not too long ago. I love the band. It's all going full circle about giving back to Roswell. And then lastly, I'm a member of Roswell Next. It's a great organization. So I will say in closing that I am here tonight to listen to you all, hear you out. I'm running a positive campaign. Please visit michaeldforroswell.com. Thank you.
Same post 7, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Yolanda Freeman, running for City Council Post 5, and I'd like to thank everyone for inviting me out today. I'm running for City Council because I'm a single mother. I have 2 children that are graduated from college and they have great jobs, and I have 1 daughter left at home at Centennial High School in 11th grade. I moved here for opportunity. I chose a city that I felt like I could raise my children to be successful. And I believe in Roswell. I would like to help create unity and diversity in City Council and our community in whole. I see so much going on, and I think we can get a lot accomplished if we can just have peace, togetherness, and just work with everyone, make everyone feel comfortable. I work in the school cafeteria every day, all different schools in Roswell, and before we had free lunches, I was able to talk to plenty of parents and plenty of children to get input of what they feel about different things in Roswell. And a lot of people don't feel comfortable coming out speaking for the 5 minutes. We haven't created a welcoming environment for everyone to feel equal to do that. And that's my passion and drive for doing this. I work all elections. I won't be working this election though. I'm going to be pushing for my own self. But I normally do voter registration. I volunteer with United Way. I'm also the PTSA co-president of Centennial High School. So I'm very active with parents, and I just have a passion and love for togetherness, and just I want to get the job done. I'm trustworthy, and I just feel like if we can do things that we say we're going to do, get them completed, and just make everybody feel welcome. I have a vision for the Dots Cafe. I really want to work hard in that area. I believe that we should push for that to be on the historical parade with the other homes, and we should have small businesses for all people, for African Americans, for any ethnic background should be able to have a business here in Roswell. I'd like to see more of that. Thanks so much. I appreciate your support.
Good evening. I'm Will Northland, running for Roswell City Council Post 5. I've always had a passion for civic union. I made the decision to run because I want to be the voice for Roswell residents and what is important to moving Roswell forward. I had financial experience as a state bank examiner and auditor, which will benefit the council as well as all of the Roswell residents who we encounter. My experience will help ensure our city projects are on budget, stay within scope of work, and are completed on time. I also have volunteered for many years with coaching my children's athletic teams through the Roswell Rec. as well as serving in several leadership positions through my son's Cub Scout unit. I'm a proud Eagle Scout and will nurture my son's ambitions of reaching his goal as he completes his scouting journey. I learned through this participation the benefits of community engagement. After speaking with many residents, I want to be sure this council represents and makes decisions that represents the interests of their voice. I'll only support responsible development, limiting new high-density projects which affects our already congested streets. Let's make use of the resources we already have, finding ways to make existing high-density complexes more accessible, more livable, versus building new ones. Let's find the right mix of commercial and residential developments. We need to bridge the gap between East Roswell and West Roswell, as East Roswell needs more destinations for shopping, restaurants, and entertainment, not construction of apartment complexes. I'll lobby and deliver greater investments in our parks and recreation department. Our parks are world-class and the envy of most cities in the metro Atlanta area, but we need to invest, maintain, and upgrade. I will support our first responders and other public service officers through acknowledging and prioritizing their value by increasing their compensation. I'll focus on restoring transparency, civility, and accountability within the council. For us to be successful, we have to work together. I'm running because I want to help our community. I have no other hidden agenda, and I promise to represent the interest of Roswell's greatest asset, its people. Inclusivity and diversity is everyone here. We all have different views and beliefs, but we all want what's best for Roswell. We may not agree on how to get that done, but I hope we can put our differences aside and represent what's best for our neighbors, our friends, and our fellow residents and taxpayers. As Scout leader, there's a set of principles we talk about living each day that I believe is relevant even in the context of tonight. The principles are reflective of the Scout Law, which states the Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And your council representatives should be as well. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you so much to Roswell Next, Roswell Women's Club, and the Atlanta Fulton County Women's League of Women's Voters. It's so great to see you all here in the fabulous First Baptist Church of Roswell. I've lived in Roswell for nearly 2 decades and have invested my time and talent into serving the Roswell community as a board member of my HOA and numerous charitable nonprofits. I've also led many volunteer organizations and served as the PTA president at Mountain Park Elementary, as well as the PTSA president at Roswell High School, where both my children have attended. Talking to so many of you that call Roswell home, your concerns are my concerns. Moving forward, it's vital that we are mindful about how we develop our commercial corridors and approach our zoning to protect our neighborhoods. And everyone loves our parks, so much so that people come from all over to enjoy them. Speaking of parks and commercial corridors, I'd like to talk about the tremendous opportunities we have to grow Roswell in really smart ways. The last time our parks won a gold medal designation was 2017, and I would love to see that happen again. While we rely on our commercial corridors to serve us today, and we appreciate the businesses we currently have, we must pivot to intentionally and aggressively pursue business and destination opportunities that our residents and our visitors demand. We spend way too much time on the road going to neighboring cities when we have the opportunity to have what we need and desire right here. One way we should improve our safety and traffic flow is to bring solutions in traffic design and construction that serves Roswell residents first and builds community wealth. Streets build community wealth versus roads that just serve Cobb County commuters. Instead of designing roads that create cut-throughs in our historic areas and neighborhoods, let's build streets that enhance a sense of community and wealth for businesses. A perfect example of building roads are the 2 cut-throughs recently designed and dug into our most historic mill village. This Oxbow project also funnels commuters down our most prized historic Main Street from the 1790s, Mimosa Boulevard, here we are, to Highway 120. We can do better. Paramount to me is the transparency and fiscal responsibility a council member owes to each one of you and I do not take that lightly. Implementing critical oversight is imperative to prevent misuse of your hard-earned dollars, and I intend to make sure this happens. We, as council members, are accountable to you, and we work for you. I will not forget that every dollar our city spends comes straight out of your pocket. No one will work harder or be more focused on the issues that are important to you. I truly look forward to being your next city council member. Thank you so much, Lee Hills City Council President.
Thank you, ladies. Closing out will be Matt, Judy, after which then the candidates will disperse to their tables. We ask that at the table, as you're asking questions, that you are mindful of other people who have questions as well, so as to limit your question or another one be asked, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue, my neighbor, and thank you all three organizations tonight for hosting us. This is a great turnout. I feel like I'm home. I grew up in this church, was baptized here at 16 years old, and attended for many years. I am a Roswell native, born and raised, went to Roswell North Elementary, Crabapple Middle School, and then Roswell High School. From there I went to Georgia Tech, and then law school at Mercer in Macon, Georgia. I decided to come home and raise my family here just like my parents did. I have a 9-year-old at Roswell North Elementary where I attended, and my why is him. I would love for him to come back to Roswell one day and raise a family just like my parents did. And why did I decide to run for council? Well, I came home and learned that our reputation was going away. We started to get a bad reputation in the business world. We started getting a bad reputation as a crazy council. And I said, look, I can't live here and not step up and run for Roswell City Council. Let's talk about the past, the present, and the future. Past. When I first got elected, I helped champion the Historic District Master Plan. That Historic District Master Plan was unanimously passed by a citizen committee and then our council. That makes sure we have development in our historic district that matches the want and feel that our citizens want in our historic district. Let's talk about the present. We just got out of a global pandemic. We basically, for a year and a half, have been running under an emergency order. During that time, we kept city services running. We also lowered the millage rate to the lowest millage rate since 1988, coming out of that. We are stronger than our surrounding communities and set up for success. Let's talk about the future. One of the most divisive documents in the city is the Uniform Development Code, or UDC. We need to throw the UDC out and start over, because we need to make sure it's what our citizens want. We're getting growth in the areas we want, and we need to master plan those areas. So in closing, you asked me to say October 12th, early voting starts. November 2nd is election day. I humbly ask for your vote. Matt, Judy from Post 6. I look forward to sitting down and talking with you, because that's where you get to know a candidate and their passion for the city. Thank you very much.
Candidates will all disperse to their tables, and we thank all of you for being here. If you have any other questions in regards to the event, please see me or the illustrious president of Roswell Women's Club. Thank you.
making the Groveway community historic, designated as a historic area in the city.
What else are you going to ask?
Well, I'm rotating the questions. Of course, the Oxbow thing, you know, his take on that. And UDC. I'll see how much information I can get just with those questions, and then, you know, we'll see.